Hey Spencer, welcome to DC. Um, why the Wizards? How did this come about, and why did you choose Washington?
What's up, Chase? Nice to meet you. Uh, obviously, free agency is almost like a game of musical chairs. I think this year's market was highlighted by point guards. Uh, first and foremost, Kyle Lowry in terms of the unrestricted free agents that could make decisions, and also highlighted by the blockbuster Russell Westbrook deal. So, when you look at the game of musical chairs and then possible fits, the Wizards really stood out, and it was a place that I wanted to go to, being familiar with Beal and his game, matching up, both age wise and play style wise. Uh, so it just became a fit that popped on the board, you know, uh, pretty recently, and I'm blessed to be able to be here.
And for those of us who haven't followed it every step of the way, just where are you in terms of the injury? What have you been able to do on the court lately?
Yeah, so I got cleared just prior to, I believe it was the conference finals actually, and had anticipated a ramp up for the finals if my former team Brooklyn was fortunate enough to make it that far. Obviously, the season ended. With that being said, I continued my workout schedule. What I didn't advance to was like 5-on-5 play and things like that because we were waiting to sign the contract, obviously, just as an abundance of caution. But in terms of like medically, I'm cleared. Riley, the surgeon who performed the surgery, sorry, is in touch with the Wizards medical team as well, and we're gonna have a detailed ramp up to play plan put in place that I can't exactly comment on right now, but I anticipate being full go for the regular season, obviously, and training camp and stuff.
Chris Miller.
Hey Spencer, how you doing?
What's up, man?
You good?
Yes, sir.
I didn't get a chance to ask you this last week when we talked, so let's just cut to the chase, man. When you bring this championship to the Wizards, how do you want your dollar?
Oh, you know, let's keep it freaky. Go, 100 pennies. Why not?
That's all I needed. Welcome to town, man. We'll talk
Thank you,
soon.
brother. Appreciate it.
DA.
Hey Spencer, how you doing, man?
What's up? How you doing?
Man, welcome to DC. Hey, look, you could have. I mean, it wasn't likely given that you were a free agent. I know, but
Yeah.
you could have run it back with Brooklyn and maybe try to win the chip up there. Um, what's happened to you throughout your first few years in this league that made you say, hey, I want to get paid, but I also want the opportunity to maybe lead a team as a lead guard somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, I think my exit from Brooklyn and what people are making of it in terms of it being about a starting role are kind of, you know, clickbait and kind of misleading. I mean, what I said in terms of if Brooklyn came to the table and used my bird rights and all that other stuff, that I'd still be wearing the black and white, and that was very true. That wasn't the offer that they put on the table. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you have to then start evaluating all offers, kind of equally. And this situation is very different, than that one, and being able to potentially co-lead a team, with Beal and guide some young guys, but also learn from somebody that's at a level that I haven't reached yet. You know what I'm saying, in terms of superstar in this league, right? And win games, play meaningful basketball in another major city, the nation's capital, all that stuff. I mean, it's an extremely attractive, place to be. And also, Shep from the beginning of the meeting talked about how much he believed in me, which, meant a ton,
Mhm.
like in my basketball career. It sounds kind of cliche, but like all I really wanted was to feel loved. You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
bounced around and had, hardships here and there and everywhere. And, all you want to do is feel a little bit of love and go out there and put it all on the line for the people that support you.
And just to follow up real quick, I mean, I'm sure you were monitoring the Westbrook thing. When you look at the guys that they brought in from LA,
Yeah.
all of you guys are in that same kind of 26 to 28-year-old range. How much of that did that factor into?
I think it's great. You know what I mean? And then, see, I'm actually familiar with Pope. He was one of my vets. I was a rookie on that Detroit Pistons team when he was
Right.
there, ironically. And Kuzma, obviously, his first year, he put up, like 17 points a game or something like that. So he can score. And then obviously Trez, sixth man of the year. So sometimes it's all about fit. And I think that's something and a piece of the journey that I can definitely speak to because, I've been everywhere from, 15th man, two-way cut, all the way up to, just around all-star level, right? Only level I haven't reached is superstar. So, a lot of times it comes down to just like you got the ball in your hands or, this coach believes in you or the situation, somebody got hurt or whatever it may be. We have a lot of talent in this locker room.
Welcome to DC, my man.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Kareem.
What's up, Spence? Kareem from the Washington Post. Welcome to DC.
Thank you, brother.
I want to ask, when you got hurt, you're playing the best ball of your career. I was curious, what was working out so well? You just kind of mentioned so many roles that you had kind of filled throughout your career. What was working so well at that point? And, you go through the injury. Do you feel like you'll be able to get back there quickly just because, it sounds like you're fully healthy and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just curious about how you're feeling and how you get back to that point of, balling the way you were at that point.
Yeah, reaching that level of play takes a lot of factors, right? So there were a lot of injuries on our team. It was kind of a necessity. I think my play style and the reason it's been so adaptable and so fluid was because really my only objective on the floor is to win, right? Like when I get out there, every decision I make is with that in mind. And it doesn't mean that every decision is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I shoot when I should have passed, and sometimes I pass when I should have shot, and sometimes I get turnovers and all that other stuff. But I genuinely believe in my heart, like the decision that I make, I was trying to do the right thing, right? And I think that's what's led to the success, like playing the game for the game's sake and because I love it. And it's also what's helped me, for example, make like game-winning shots and things like that. It's because, I try to make the best decision. And if I miss, I know I can live with it, right? I have peace of mind in the work that I've put in, and also that I wasn't doing it for, any other, slick reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
In regards to the injury, it's a much easier one than I had before. That's why I was so bullish on my timeline. And so, when I said I wanted to come back for the finals, even when I first got hurt, that was speaking from experience. That wasn't, somebody just talking out of their behind. And, I feel great in workouts. Obviously, the next step is to get into live play, which will happen when I get off of vacation. I estimate will happen when I get off vacation. Sorry, doctors. We have different ideas on that. But, yeah, I don't see any reason why I won't be in the starting lineup to start the season in October.
And just a quick follow, you mentioned, you like the prospect of playing with Brad and the fit with this team. You've seen him for years. What is it about your style of play and his style of play that you think meshes so well or will mesh so well?
Yeah, so obviously one of the best scorers in the league, one of the people that gets to the paint, the easiest and most efficient in the league. And then I think, obviously everybody has certain styles. I think with mine, in terms of playmaking, like I typically am able to gash the defense before, kicking it out or throwing a lob or whatever it is. So, you're able to create more closeouts in that scenario, even if they don't necessarily lead to assists. You're causing havoc and you're making plays in that manner. And if you look at the depth of our team, obviously Bill doesn't necessarily need that because, he can go get a bucket on everybody, right? But look at the depth of our team, Pope who can really shoot as a quick first step. You got Kuz, obviously, when attacking closeouts, he's going to be a monster. Rui, same thing, right? Super athletic, getting the lane off cuts and things, dunking on people. Gafford, lob threat. Trez, obviously a play finisher off the pocket pass and also, as a lob threat as well. So, you got them all there. Even the versatility, being 6'6", to play with Aaron, in those times, right? Kind of having three people that can really handle the ball at one time, being able to play off the ball. Obviously, Aaron, is a very good player in his own right as well. I think he's one of the best backup point guards in the league. I didn't tell him this prior, obviously, because I was playing against him, but, I hate it when he guards me. So, I'm happy he's on my team now.
It's perfect. Appreciate you.
Fred.
Hey, Spencer, welcome to DC. Sorry for the background hotel music here. No, I'm just curious regarding, like, you're a point guard, which means that you are so responsible for so much of the offense, and now you have a whole group of new teammates who have particular ways they like to receive the ball on jump shots or where they like the ball on lobs, all that kind of stuff. What's your process of learning an entire roster of new players and kind of learning the nuances of their game from that aspect?
I think the process actually has to start with our new coach, Mr. Unseld Jr. You know, if I was familiar with his style and like playbook and all that stuff, like let's say he was, you know, like a Spoelstra or something, so I knew his actions from just playing the Heat a lot, right? That would be one thing, right, where you can already kind of like spitball what's going to happen. But obviously, with him being a new coach, it's about getting on the same page with him, hopefully, so that I can convey his messages onto the floor and obviously and things like that. And then from there, you start to put the puzzle pieces together, right? And you know, you understand obviously Gafford is above the rim, right? You understand, you know, Kuz attacking closeouts, obviously has a little bit of post-up game. He's kind of real versatile scorer. Just think about each and every player. Like you already start to pick up just from the standpoint of playing with them so much, but then also throughout practice and film study and having open, transparent conversations. Like, you know, I'm gonna go up to him and tell him like, look, bro, I'm not perfect. Like, I want to know like what you need from me. You know, I think that's something that I learned coming through the various ranks of, like I said, 15th man and up. Like, you know, when somebody came to me when I was, you know, 7th, 8th man and was like, hey, Spence, like, you know, if I set a screen this way, would it help you get in the paint? Man, it was super impactful. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like, you know, less than, or I didn't feel like, you know, without a voice. I felt like, you know, empowered in those moments and you know, able to say, hey, look, man, if you turn the screen this way, you know, it helps me get my defender, you know, on my hip. And this is how I can go about it so that you also get the lob when you do this. You know, does that work for you? And I think when the communication is open like that, you know, it can make us a powerful team.
Thanks, man.
Neil?
Hey, Spencer, welcome to DC. I'm curious, you know, what communication have you had with Brad either before the free agency started, since free agency has started, and how have you guys maybe started to already pick each other's minds a little bit?
Before free agency would be tampering, bro. What are you talking about?
Of course, okay, not trying to get anybody fined.
Listen. Lakers, Toronto, Heat, whatever. They the ones that are tampering. We just don't tamper, man. Don't do that.
Understood.
Nah. You know, in terms of speaking to Brad, obviously, you know, having his vote of confidence in terms of this signing meant a ton. You know, you always want to be on the same page with the superstars on the team, or superstar, sorry, on the team. You know, and for the most part, his thing has been about, you know, coming in, playing basketball the right way, like leading the group, you know, all the stuff. I don't think he is going to really experience any on-court friction for me. Like, you know, we know what it is. Like, obviously, he can score in a variety of ways and do some special things out there. And it's my job to, you know, get out the way when I need to get out the way and try to help enhance when I can enhance. And then, you know, at the times when he's off the floor, making sure that the ship still rides right and that there's no fall off. So, you know, I think putting it simply like that, you know, just staying aggressive in those three facets bodes well for our roster.
Thanks. Welcome again.
Thank you.
Matt?
Hey Spencer, Matt Ferris from Washington Times. Nice to meet you. Virtually. Just curious, like you mentioned monitoring the point guard market. Was it Washington from the very beginning, or how did Kyle Lowry's decision, for example, kind of impact your thinking, or how did you kind of go about that process of, all right, settling on Washington basically?
No, I mean, obviously Russ was the domino that opened up Washington because prior to the Russ trade, like, you know, Washington wasn't on the table. You know, obviously going back to throughout the season, end of season, stuff like that, when they're kind of starting to dole out the point guard rankings, right? We knew Kyle Lowry was probably the first domino, right? With the way CP was playing with the Suns and Conley with the Jazz, you know, both All-Stars and all the other stuff, finals, et cetera, you figured they would probably go back to their team. Now, there could have been curveballs, but that's what, you know, the money would have been on. So you're really just saying, like, all right, in the unrestricted free agent market or point guard market, you know, who's going where and who's getting paid what and who are the teams that need point guards. And so that's just kind of how you look at it. And to me, I felt like I should be the second one off the board. Understanding Kyle's won a championship, obviously he was going to command a near max contract, et cetera. That's genuinely how I felt, and you know what I spoke about during that free agency period. I think it shook out that obviously I was third because Lonzo went to Chicago, but you know overall with the Russ deal opening up, obviously Washington and having a rapport, like I said, with Beal and Shep really believing in me, you know, it made it a perfect fit.
And I noticed you tweeted just Hagrid, you know, the Harry Potter reference. I'm just curious, are you a Harry Potter guy?
Yeah, I actually read the books when I was young. So yeah, I'm a Harry Potter guy, and I just thought it was super fitting. It was actually one of my friends that sent it to me, so I can't take full credit for it. But you know, when the rumors started coming out, they had said in a joking manner, like, "Hey, you should post this if you choose to go to Wizards." I was like, "Yeah, okay, like all right." Like I didn't really think much about it, obviously, when the rumors first started, because that's, you know, week, 2 weeks before, whatever it is, like it's rumors. But once it really started coming down to it, and obviously everything was coming to fruition, I had that mental note in my head, so I pulled it out of text.
Thank you.
Hey, Ben Standing, are you driving and watching this press conference at the same time? Just make sure everybody's safe at this point.
I'm literally not driving. I'm standing in a parking lot on the road, so I took a shot. Spencer, Ben Standing with The Athletic. Nice to meet you. Just out of curiosity, you talked about obviously joining with Brad and the attractiveness that comes with that. Player movement in this league is pretty common and if not rampant in some spot, and for better or for worse, Brad is often mentioned in various trade rumors. How did you navigate that, if at all, when you were making your own decision about your future as to what the future here could be beyond, you know, with Brad's situation?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously I spoke to him, and obviously he's his own man, and his decisions are his own. So I can't talk about, you know, his plans or what he's going to do. You know, I mean, I think that we have a chance to have and if that's not what comes to fruition, then it's not. But I think, you know, right now we're both willing to kind of take a little bit of a bet on each other and try to do something special. So, you know, all we can kind of focus on is the now. And you know, if plans change, then they change. But you know, we're here now and have a really special chance.
Thank you,
Alex.
Hey, Spencer, welcome to DC. Nice to meet you. You know, recent history for the Wizards, you look at the point guard position, it's been such a big part of this team with Russ and with John Wall, before that, even going back to Gilbert Arenas, and each of them seems to have made such a big mark on the franchise and the area. What kind of mark are you hoping to make here in DC?
Oh, I mean, I'm not Gilbert, John, or Russ. You know, yeah, those are all dudes with very interesting personalities. I mean, you know, you got some of the best players. You know, obviously Russ, one of the best players to ever play in terms of the triple doubles. You got Gilbert, one of the best scorers of all time. You got John, who had an extended run where you could argue he was the best point guard in the league. You know, and so, you know, gotta always respect the accomplishments of what people have done. I think I'll be the first point guard in DC history to possibly lobby senators about Bitcoin. We can go with that. But in all seriousness, I think just my style of play is very different from them. Like I said, I respect everything that they did. But you know, what I want to be known for is winning. And then that's what I hope to bring to the franchise. Like at the end of the day, just, you know, whatever it kind of takes. So I think my career kind of shows that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Quentin.
Welcome to DC, Spencer.
Hey, listen, first off, I'm gonna ask you a question. Where you get all your information from? Because you was tweeting out news about my stuff before I knew it. How'd that work?
Hey, I'll tell you after this. I'll
Okay.
tell you after this. You know, that's tampering if I tell you in front of all these people.
Got it. I hear it.
Welcome to DC first and foremost. Real quick question for you. I talked to your trainer, Olin, who is not my source, by the way. But he was telling me all about how you're the most underrated player in the NBA. Does that kind of go into how you play your game, and especially how you're looking at this upcoming season, and kind of tying that into the fact that, you know, you felt like you should have been the second point guard off the board and you weren't? Because can you kind of maybe talk about the chip on your shoulder league-wide?
Oh, I mean, that's been there. But I mean, that started way before the NBA, man. Like, I felt I should have been, more respected in high school. I felt like I should have been recruited higher in college. I felt like, consistently. Like, that's just kind of been who I am, but also what's got me here, right? Like, if I was a complacent person, then when you get cut and people think you're going to China, do you just take the bag and go to China, or do you still want more for yourself? And are you willing to stick through the D League and some of those punches and the long bus rides and all that other stuff? So some of that has made me who I am, right? And I can get on here and I can bring up stats about how I'm underrated and all that other stuff, but it doesn't really serve much of a purpose. Like, I'm here now. I think we have an amazing chance to win. And if I'm able to play at the level that I can play at, similar to the 1920 season and hopefully beyond, and I can complement Brad in the way that, I believe that I can, then, we can be an extremely powerful team in the Eastern Conference and go out there and compete with everybody on a nightly basis and, make DC family proud.
And what would you say was the biggest thing you had to work on this offseason, other than, of course, your health? Like, what about your game that you've tried to really bring to another level?
Oh, my game. I think obviously, this is low hanging fruit. When you look at 3-point shooting, my catch shoot numbers are solid. My off the dribble numbers aren't very good. But with obviously working on health and understanding kind of the barriers to movement patterns and things is, you have to wait X amount of times you can cut, and X amount of times you can run and all that other stuff. You end up shooting a lot of spot shots. So I hope to continue to improve that, be even better in that area because, we have another very powerful, habit creator on the floor, obviously, and I could be the beneficiary of some of that action. And if I can spot up and shoot the ball well, then it's a really great dynamic for our roster.
Appreciate you, Spence. We'll talk soon.
Let's do it.
We'll take the last question from Karita.
Hi, Spencer. How are you? You briefly mentioned Daniel Gafford earlier, as well as Rui. I'm curious, can you go into a little bit more detail about how you see yourself meshing with them and just being the younger guys on the roster, and also what intrigues you about what you've seen from them?
So little known fact, uncle who I worked out with since I was like about 10, 12, also does like pre-draft stuff like that for Washington. So he was training Rui, and so I'm kind of familiar with Rui and his game and being kind of, forward and a bigger slasher and able to kind of get in the paint, be the beneficiary of cutting and things like that. So I'm looking forward to that. And just being able to obviously offer the experience that I have and hopefully they can take from it what helps them and discard what doesn't help, right? With Gafford, obviously I know, live body, live threat. I'm familiar with playing with them. I think, in that same 1920 season, I was of the top 3 live combinations in the league, I was a part of 2 of them, right? I believe me and DeAndre Jordan were first. I think James Harden and Clint Capella were second, and then me and Jared Allen were third. So, it speaks to an ability to have good ball placement above the rim. And obviously, everybody jumps different. Some people 1-leg jumpers, 2-leg jumpers, all that other stuff. So there is some chemistry and timing that has to, take place as it did with DJ and Jared. Because, for example, DJ's a 1-foot jumper, wants to catch a lob with his right hand off his left leg, even though he's left-handed. It's why, I don't know. And Jared Allen is a 2-foot, 2-hand guy typically from either side. And so learning Gafford in that manner, might take a couple practices, but once you get that down, it should be on and rolling.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Spencer, for joining us. We'll send out information after this call for tomorrow's availabilities. Thank you.